Hi and welcome along to AFTV. We are here for the starting 11. Of course, the big match today in the Europa League is Arsenal visiting PSV Eindhoven. And the boys are out there at the moment. Lee Judges is out there. Cecil, Julian's out there. Ty's out there as well.
Sisu.
Right? They're all out there for the game at the Philips Stadion today. So we're going to have some great coverage of that from all the fans out there. But in the studio today, joining me, we got Sharoy.
What's going on?
Great to have you on board, Sharoy. Of course, my man James in the building.
Yes.
No? Why don't you clap, Robbie?
Huh?
He's holding the iPad.
I'm hosting, man.
All right.
Right? And Nigeria's finest,
We outside, my brother.
Kalechi,
We outside.
in the building. The stream today brought to you today, the starting 11 by Sanucci. I want to big up Sanucci for bringing us today's match day experience. Make sure that you support your team with style with the Sanucci Arsenal pendants. You can see my one here. Can you see it?
Yeah, that looks cold.
Love it.
Is that the gold you've
Cold,
got?
innit?
That looks cold.
Yeah, nice.
Mine is somewhere there.
You didn't get one. You see it there? You see these guys?
Yeah, I've gone silver.
You got the silver one.
Silver
You got,
can.
you got the bling one.
Very nice.
Right?
They didn't give me.
This
The
goes
Ars-
well with this kit as well, man. This one goes really well.
It
with
does
this
go
kit.
well with that
Yeah,
kit.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
does
it
this
does,
one actually.
actually, yeah.
The Arsenal Cannon pendants are now back in stock, right? Because they had run out completely worldwide. They're now back in stock, so you can get yours. All you got to do is click the link in the description and check out Sanucci's Urban Jewelry. They've got other stuff apart from this as well. And make sure that you are match day ready. So big up to Sanucci here, rocking it in style. And hopefully, this is going to be a game we're rocking in style. Sharoy, the starting 11 is interesting. And normally on regular games, they come out about an hour before. Sometimes with these Europa League games, they come out even a bit before that. So we'll know what it is soon. But it's very intriguing to see what the team is going to be. Because if you think about it, you've got Arsenal at the top of the group. You only need one more point to qualify.
First.
No, first. We have already qualified.
Huh?
Yeah.
Sorry, we've already qualified. Yeah, one more point to finish first. We got the game at the weekend against Nottingham Forest, which after dropping a couple of points last week, we want to win that. What sort of team? How strong do we go? Because we've got another bite at the cherry next week if we don't win this game today. I mean, we only need to draw this game today, as a matter of fact. But if we don't win it today, we've got another bite at the cherry. Would you rest loads and loads and loads of players? Or do you still go with a strong team and get the job done?
I wouldn't be unhappy with whatever Arteta does, I'll be honest. I wouldn't be unhappy if he weakened, because I'd see the sense in it. But I also wouldn't be unhappy if he started with a stronger team, because I think we kind of need to play ourselves back into form. I don't know if you guys follow cricket, but as an analogy, if you're a batsman out of form, right, you just want to get some bat on ball and get back into the rhythm of things. And we've got a lot of big players that haven't quite hit the heights that they were hitting at the beginning of the season. And I think there's no better opportunity than a game like this to continue to build that confidence, to go into the Forest game and think, right, it's business as usual. Because don't forget, Forest, look, I mean, I know they're Forest, but they did just beat Liverpool.
Yeah.
They'll be coming up with a bit of confidence as well, right? And I'm not saying that our
But
confidence
is that a
is
reason
being
to rest players as well? No?
It could be, but as I say, I think confidence with this team, particularly because of the age, is massive. I think it's a huge thing. So if we can play ourselves back into form with key players, I'm always a fan. I've said this many a time. If you can start strong, seal the game early, you can take them off and then let the other guys do their thing. Sometimes you have to exert yourself that little bit more if you're bringing the big guns on in the last 20 minutes to try and win a game or come back from behind. They have to go full pelt then. But as I say, I trust the manager, and whatever he does, I'm sure he's making the right call.
What would you do, Kalechi?
I'll start strong.
Weak or strong?
I'll start strong. Seal it, rest players next Thursday. Because if you don't win this one, you probably have to play them on Thursday and another round. It's difficult, So just go strong. I'm not saying play for a draw. If we get a draw, I'll be happy. And
Do you want players? Well, the one thing I've noticed in the past couple of games, right, is that in the second half of games, we dropped off. Last week, I thought we started brilliantly against Southampton. Second half of that, iffy. The week before that against Leeds, good start, first half. Second half, is that a bit of fatigue from, especially when you've got to travel? I know it's not a long distance, but you've got to travel over. It's still a plane flight. It's still waiting around. It's still your routine, your normal routine, messed up. Do you want some of your key players travelling for that, or do you want to say, nah, let's leave that?
I mean, you want your key players to start because you just want to seal it up as early as possible. You don't want any mishap against Zurich, for instance, tomorrow. Now that you're second, and you're not facing Barcelona at home. You know, I'm not scared about them. I'm not scared about. I'm not scared of them, but just get it done nice and early, and then rest players next Thursday.
What about you?
Yeah, I get what everyone's saying, especially that playing into form. But then I don't think it's form. I think it's tiredness. I think it's fatigue. I think as you said, they started really well against Southampton. You know, earlier in that season, if we play that match, we probably extend that 45 minutes. We were good to maybe 65, 70 minutes. So I'm inclined to rest the whole team, make all the changes, and ultimately, kind of, who cares? Because the absolute worst that can happen, from all this, we lose. Then we lose to Zurich next week. PSV beat Bodo Glimt, and we finish second. And that's.
But that can't happen. That's catastrophic.
That's catastrophic.
Is it catastrophic?
It
finishing
is.
second,
It
given
affects
the
your
amount, the extra
confidence. It affects
fixtures.
so many things.
I'll be honest, I'm not too bothered if we beat Forest and then Chelsea and Wolves. I'll be like, okay, like, it's really annoying from the position we were in.
The
but
extra games with
Yeah, it'd be a
Everton
shame.
and City still need to come back in as well, and then we have 2 more games on top of that.
Yeah.
I think you're risking a lot more fatigue if you're looking at those extra 4 games than you are if you go strong.
Absolutely, but you know what has to happen for that? Like, I know I'm tempting fate. I know we're going to finish second. I'm saying all this, but we'd have to lose tonight, which could definitely happen.
Yeah.
But then PSV would have to win at Bodo Glimt, difficult thing to do, and we'd have to drop points at home to Zurich.
Yeah.
That's 3 kind of big things. Not really tonight. They could beat us tonight, but the other 2 are kind of big things that have to swing in the other direction. And I'm just focused on Forest now. That's why I wanted to win so badly last week, just to get that done and feel like it's all but sealed. They're a good side. I totally respect them. I think we're going to drop points tonight, if I'm honest. But yeah, I'd rotate the whole thing because I'm just worried about Forest now.
I think I've got the team.
Already?
So, yeah, that's what I said. On these type of games, the team normally seems to get leaked out a little bit earlier than on other ones. So you guys ready for the team? This is the Arsenal team to play PSV. In goal, Ramsdale.
Really?
Yeah, Ramsdale in goal. So that's very interesting. There must be an injury
Turner up front.
to Turner up front. Tomiyasu, Holding, Saliba, Tierney, Lokonga, Xhaka, Vieira, Odegaard, Martinelli and Nketiah.
Vieira, Odegaard, Martinelli and Nketiah. So Vieira outright?
So it looks like Vieira on the right.
Vieira
on the right, Martinelli on the left, Nketiah down the middle, with Lokonga, the holding midfielder. Hold on. Xhaka and Odegaard in midfield. And Tomiyasu as a right back, Holding, Saliba 2 centre backs, and Tierney with Ramsdale in goal. On the bench, Hine, so that shows, I think that shows that there's got to be some sort of injury to Turner. Cedric, Ben White, Gabriel, Ibrahim, Partey, Smith, Serjan, Saka, Nelson, and Jesus.
Still no Zinchenko.
Still no Zinchenko, no. That's the team. So that is quite a strong team. That is quite a strong team. It's sort of been more or less a lot of the Europa League. You know, it's been Nketiah who's been starting these games. Kelechi, you look so concerned.
Are you alright?
Are you alright, mate?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You look very concerned, man. What's the go on?
No, I mean, it's okay if we need them, just like the first leg. If we need firepower from the bench, like Partey, to change the game, we'll bring him on. There's no
Do you look concerned, man?
Yeah, I wanted Jesus to start. You know, because
you wanted Jesus to start?
Yeah, because he's a bit of a ghost rider. Like my friend said, he needs to get go. I'm sure he's a big player talking about.
Would you have played him down the middle if he did start?
Yes.
And
I want him to just get a goal from anywhere.
You would have benched Nketiah? Benched Nketiah?
No, playing Nketiah on the left. No problem. That's what he did last time. Yeah. But I guess we are just going for broke straight. So.
I mean, not expected, but I didn't think he'd go as weak as I'd have liked.
Yeah.
But a bit like Sharoy said, ultimately kind of trust what the manager wants to do, and it's not that important. I guess he's trying to just get it sealed, which makes next week well and truly a dead rubber if we get a point tonight. So there's that. I wouldn't have played Martinelli.
Who did you play instead?
I don't know who's in the academy.
Reece Nelson?
Yeah, Reece Nelson maybe. Odegaard playing as well. I guess you got Vieira can cover. There's certain
Vieira's playing as well.
I know. There's certain areas like Saliba starting with Holding. I don't really mind too much. The reason being is if Saliba, for example, were tired, couldn't play the next game, picked up an injury, White could shuffle to centre back, Tomiyasu could come in, and you're kind of still strong enough. But I think Martinelli and Saka in particular, where it's really just them two. Smith Rowe's out. I wouldn't have played either of them.
No, I think if you notice what he does is he plays one of them. He plays either Gabriel or Saliba. But he plays either Saka or Martinelli.
I think what he's done now, though, he's made us a bit predictable going forward, because with Tomiyasu and Vieira down the right-hand side, I can see everything going down the left with Tierney and Martinelli, because I think they're the more naturally forward-thinking players.
Yeah.
If I was Ruud van Nistelrooy right now, I'd be saying, look, we're going to have to load up down our right because they're going to be bombing down there, but they don't really have that much of a natural wide threat on the other side. That's the only concern, and that might be why he felt the need to start Martinelli there, because he didn't want to totally disarm us on both flanks.
I'm very interested to see Vieira wide right, because it was one of the positions that was discussed for him. Could he play it in the way Phil Foden plays out wide, for example? And it might add a different dimension, because it does feel like it's all on Saka at the moment outright. And, with Martinelli, there's Smith Rowe to come back, but with could Vieira give a different dynamic down that side? So that'd be interesting.
King Gunner says, who enjoyed Tottenham and Expression celebrating yesterday? Tear him a new one on the Next Best of Enemy show. Big up to Don Robbie and co. Red Army, he says. That was sweet last night, I have to say. Turner has tightness in the groin, says Ashrai. So apparently that's why he's not played. Of course, Marquinhos is also out as well.
He had illness, I think, didn't he?
He's sick, so he didn't travel. And Ellie says this is exactly why Pepe shouldn't have been sold. He's not been sold. He's on loan. I think, listen, it is a bit unfortunate because there's a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
To certain players that would probably, you could bring in like Emil Smith Rowe and people like that. They're out.
Even El Neni, he would probably have got game time in this competition.
Yeah, Smith Rowe, Zinchenko, El Neni, Marquinhos, they all would have had game time. So
Comment of the week says, I think you all think too much. Nelson and Cedric should play, says Ghana Boy 1234. Ashai says only 3 midfielders. If we can't beat Nottingham Forest, we need to give up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even bothered about that game, to be honest.
This is our fourth.
Listen,
with all due respect to them. And
they beat Liverpool.
He's a Nigerian boy that scored. He's a Nigerian boy, please.
But like James said, they beat Liverpool last week. Their tails are going to be up. That's the more important game for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
Forest is the most important game.
If you cannot beat Nottingham Forest at home, you don't have anything to do with up top of the table. You don't have any.
They beat Liverpool last week
at their home. Let them try it in.
Even so, you can't take teams for granted.
I'm not saying take it for granted. That's what I'm saying. I'm throwing down the gauntlet. If you cannot beat Nottingham Forest at home,
what game is more important, tonight or Sunday?
Sunday.
Tonight.
We drop points in the league. We drop points in the league.
We still have a marathon in the league.
This
one is how many games?
I disagree. I feel Sunday's more important, because I feel that you want to win. You want to keep the momentum going, especially winning at home. You want to go into that game against Chelsea next week with the winning, still going. And if it don't work out tonight, which I hope it does work out tonight, we only need a point.
Yeah.
If it don't work out tonight, we can go a bit stronger next week, Thursday night. And we got Zurich at home, who's been the whipping boys of the group.
You see the same home fixture we're talking about.
But then we have Chelsea that
but then, like James.
You hear what he said?
No, but hold on, Kelechi.
Away.
But just like James said,
would you prefer to be fresh, rest on the Thursday, and go the away game?
I want to get out. I want to get out of this mindset as to you can only win one game or the other, or you can only perform in one game.
No. I'm just.
That's the point.
I know that. I want to win.
Talk about this
I want to
win.
That's a strong team enough to win tonight. But what I'm saying is, right? I want to. If I can only take one, it's Sunday.
Yeah, same.
That's the one I want to win.
Because we dropped points last week as well. It's even more important.
And like James says, right? Even in the worst possible scenario that we lost to Zurich next week, say we had the second bite of the cherry, we still got another bite, because we're still in the new year. We'd have another game against one of the teams that have dropped out of the at the Champions League.
At the new camp,
Yeah. That trip to Turin. But I'm with you, but Robbie, I'm with you. I think this is
I want to go into. Sorry to cut you there, James. I want to go into that World Cup break on top of the league.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you. This is our 4th away game in 5, I believe. What do we have? Bodo Glimt, Leeds, Southampton. Southampton. PSV, Southampton, and now this game. So this is our 4th in 5. And the team looked tired. I was at St Mary's on the weekend, and it just felt like even when we needed a goal, it became a little still. The movement wasn't there, and all those things. I would have just completely rested tonight. But this isn't me massively complaining that he's gone fairly strong. I'm actually excited to see some of the combinations, Vieira on the right and all that. The one thing I'd say, I'm presenting this more as a question than something I definitely think, but I kind of want to ask this. Has Arteta got a great track record when it comes to managing rotation and minutes? We all foresaw back in January that the squad wasn't deep enough, even for just a top 4 run. No, it's fine, we don't need the players, we weren't going to do the business unless it was right. That proved right because we've got players like Jesus in, don't get me wrong. But ultimately the players tired towards the end, didn't they? Massively. The energy levels were gone. And I worry a little bit about whether listen, he's got a medical department, he'll know way more than me.
He's rotated well so far in the tournament.
I think he has. Look, as I said, he's got a medical department, he'll know way more than me. I'm not for one second saying I know better than him, but I just wonder whether maybe he has asked a little too much of players sometimes, and if we might see a similar thing. We talked about needing a midfielder and a winger in the summer as well as the business we did, and it didn't happen. Now we look a little short for these games.
Okay, let me get into some of the comments. EK says we need 3 signings in January, realistic options, Danilo, Lindstrom and Pino, and Indica for just over £50 million. IDK says, would you sell Emil Smith-Rowe for 50 million? Injuries plus backup? I wouldn't, no, not right now. Ashai says, how robust is Xhaka? Wow, he's an animal. On that, there is that rumour that's been going around that the owners are going to back Mikel Arteta in January and will give him up to £50 million to spend. I think we're seeing at the moment that we do need a few additions to the squad. I know we got injuries to Emil Smith-Rowe. I know we got injuries to El Neni, Zinchenko. So those would be 3 big players who would come in for the squad depth. But I think we could do with a couple more. I think we saw last week. I don't know. I'd still like to see a backup striker, man.
You only need to look at the window to figure out that he wanted those players anyway. We don't need to be detectives. Do you know what I mean? He went for Rafinha, didn't get him, didn't bring in a wide forward of that calibre. Went for Douglas Luiz, didn't get him, realised midfield was an issue. So it's quite clear that he wants those players, and he saw the issue there. Now, going back to the rotation question, look at what Arteta's done when he's had players who are good enough to rotate with. He now has full-back options, he rotates very well at full-back. He now has centre-back options, he rotates very well at centre-back. He now has a backup striker that he trusts, so he rotates very well with Nketiah. But the positions that he can't rotate well enough in, i.e. the wings and the centre of midfield, he can't. And those are the players that we're concerned about in terms of minutes, right? So in years gone by, he hasn't had the players in those positions to rotate with. So he couldn't. He had to play them every game because every game was a must-win game. Yeah, and they got gassed out. He didn't have a choice. Who were we going to bring in realistically if Xhaka or Partey were injured last year? Who were we going to bring in when Tierney was in? He didn't have a choice. Yeah. But now he does, and hopefully with those options in January, he has more of a choice. You know, the squad building thing is incremental and it's going the right way.
Yeah, big game for Lokonga tonight.
Yeah, big game.
I even saw a comment from Mikel Arteta saying that, listen, we know he wants to start every week, but these are the 2 games and stuff like that we want to see him prove himself.
Yeah,
that sounded like a direct message to Lokonga that, yo, you don't just start for you got, when you get out there, you got to show me more.
Exactly. I think he's eager to go to the World Cup as well. Probably that's why he's complaining. But yeah, you're right. It's a game for him to show his mettle. But I'm thinking about it. 50 million. How many players will he get you in this transfer market? Unless you're going to the Brazilian market.
In January, if you're looking at someone that's out of contract,
2?
Maybe.
Yeah.
They know that they'd get nothing for them if they were going in the summer. You might be able to do some smart business.
Tielemans, maybe?
Depends. No, I mean, we got Zinchenko and Jesus on the cheap because Guardiola did us a favor. That's the honest truth. Because in this market, you cannot get them for that price. So where are you going to buy?
Even Jesus only had a year left on his contract, and we paid what, in excess of 40 million for him. You don't see many players going for that kind of value when they've only got a year left.
No,
it's very cheap for the calibre of player, but when you're looking at the contract, some people might say you paid a fair bit for a guy with a year left. Who knows?
He's proving quality though.
Of course, worth every penny.
Yeah.
On the Lokonga thing, I'm going to jump to the defence of Lokonga. I've done it a few times. A Thursday's a Lokonga day because it always feels like I'm on full time having to defend his performance and all that. He's now become one of those players in the team, and Gabriel's had a little bit of this, where they maybe haven't been quite at their best, and therefore everything they get wrong is highlighted and people talk about it. What people didn't talk about was that brilliant pass from Lokonga last week against PSV that put us in behind. And actually the general composure he has on the ball. At Old Trafford, I thought he was very, very good on the ball, kept things moving, a big part of why we dominated that game. But he's out of position for the goal. I'm not saying that's not a big moment, but he's not a natural six, and everyone's on him saying, you know, he was poor there, and with Partey we'd probably win that game. I feel a bit sorry for Lokonga because I think we learned across last season. The evidence was so clear. We lost 3 games in a row where essentially Partey got injured in one and then Lokonga started the other 2. When Elneny came in, we then go and beat United, beat Chelsea, beat West Ham, beat Leeds, and things are looking a lot better. Lokonga's clearly an 8. We saw it in pre-season, that goal at the back post against Chelsea. He's a bit more box-to-box. Actually, it only took sort of 10 minutes into his debut at Brentford last year, where we lost 2-0, to see that the guy's good on the ball. He's brave. He wants to drive at people, run at people, make things happen.
Enough. Well, does he do enough when you come in? Right? Listen, this unfortunately.
No.
Wait.
He's right.
Let me land.
What he's saying is exactly what Xhaka faced until he was moved to 8.
Let me land.
That's what he's saying.
Let me land here. I personally think Lokonga is at 8. I personally think he is. I saw him in pre-season as well. I was like, wow, he's a different player playing that box-to-box role. Right? Want to see him shoot more.
Yeah,
and be better at shooting because you're playing in that role. I want to see you shooting more. But at the moment, you're a young player. You ain't no 8. You're coming in, you're playing that defensive midfield role. That's the position that you've been given as you were coming in. Does he do enough when he's in the game? Do you finish the game thinking, wow, Lokonga, man, what a player we got here? Like what you do sometimes with some of the other younger players.
Because those younger players are playing in their natural position.
Is he making enough as an impression? But when you're a young player coming in, we saw Saka when he came in. Yeah. Saka was playing as a left wing back.
Yeah,
and still impressing. Yeah. When you get into a big team like Arsenal, you ain't always going to get in the position you want. It ain't always going to land for you. You've got to earn that. Is he doing enough, right, for the manager to say to himself, boy, you know what? See, come the weekend, boy, if anything's up with Partey, we're good, you know, because. Is he doing that?
So I think 2 things are true. I think you're right. He's not doing enough in that position for us all to feel like he deserves more minutes, that he's an adequate backup.
He's saying he wants to start. Yeah, we're going back to the player now. The player's kind of dropping a lot of hints like, I want to start. You're not going to start in a Xhaka right now. Xhaka's on fire.
Yeah.
And you're not showing us enough. Well, Partey's been excellent as well, but you're not showing us that you should start ahead of Partey either. Now, these are the games, in these type of games, that you need to show up. You have to. Unfortunately, it's not fair because, you know, you need more time in football. But if you want to be starting, in these games, you've got to be domineering. I think, here's what it is.
I think, like I said, I think 2 things are true. You're right, that he should be doing more in that position, really, especially at the Europa League group stage level, with all due respect. However, the thing that I'm getting more defensive about is quite how much people are coming for him. Now, if people were just saying, or fans online or whatever, were just saying, you know what, he's not playing great, but cool, we kind of acknowledge the context, that'd be one thing. But they're, sell him, he's not good enough. This guy's
I don't agree with that.
And that just winds me up. Because you're right, Xhaka's the perfect example.
There's a lot of people saying send him on loan,
he's brilliant.
Yeah, there was also, I saw some rumours about him and cash for Milinkovic-Savic a few days ago.
Yeah, I saw that rumour as well.
But look, if Elneny's fit, Lokonga doesn't have to play this role in the Europa League. Elneny plays that role, and Lokonga maybe plays instead of Xhaka. Xhaka doesn't have to play every game. Lokonga sadly is suffering because of our lack of depth in that position. We had one injury.
What they tried to do on deadline day?
Well, exactly.
They tried to sign Douglas Luiz. They know it's a problem.
Exactly.
Like, this is what, when people sit here, when we're doing these shows, people go, stop complaining. What do you mean stop complaining? We've seen the club try and address this. We know that they feel the same.
But in the meantime, you're in that position.
Yeah.
You need to show more. That's my opinion on it.
That's fair.
Well, it sounds like the manager's saying the same thing.
I don't think he's... if I'm being honest, right, and I like Lokonga, I don't think he's showing enough when he's in that position. He's neat and tidy, doesn't particularly do anything wrong, but he's not blowing up the spot either. You understand what I'm saying?
But wouldn't you describe Elneny as the same when he starts in that position, though?
I would.
Doesn't do much
and that's why Elneny don't start games. AFC Max says, hey Sharoy, How are you, bro? Good to see you back on the watch along. Good lineup today, 9 out of 10, AFTV rating. And he said, I would love to see a strong lineup today and against Forest make up for that draw.
Love, Max.
Don Robbie Defs there says, I think Lokonga would be good as left at number 8. There's less for him to master defensively, which he isn't great at. He always feels a bit behind the play when the opposition is on the attack. And listen, these may be great points, but the problem is you ain't playing in that position right now. And you're in the first team, and you have to. That's how football runs, man.
And that's correct. But if I was the manager, to be honest, I'll play him in 8 and play Ben White in that role.
You're trying to rest players, man.
Honestly, that's how I do.
Ben White in the 6.
Ben White has played defensive midfield for Brighton, for Leeds United.
He has, yeah.
And he did very well, just in case.
Would you send Sambi Lokonga out on loan?
No. Just in case Partey goes injured tomorrow.
No, I'm saying January.
In January.
Would you send him on loan?
No, if you have a replacement.
I would actually.
Yes, yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, if we brought in Tinos, for example, and then from January onwards it was a case of Partey Elneny, Xhaka Tielemans, Vieira Odegaard, and then Smith Rowe could even come in. I think that's more than enough for the rest of the season.
Do you?
Did you see his interview? Lokonga's interview, I think
I
it was
saw
last
quotes
week.
flying around.
He came out and said there were options for him for a loan, but he didn't want to go because he felt as though even by training with our boys and maybe starting 20 minutes for us, he'd learn more than he would at those proposed loan clubs. And that just shows you how much he feels as though he is learning with this group of players and this manager.
Yeah, but
so if that's the decision that he's
different though.
Well, he is getting the game time,
No,
just not in his preferred
10
position.
minutes, 5 minutes.
No, but he's not getting 10 or 5 minutes in this competition.
Imagine Balogun saying that, and now he's the second highest goal scorer in La Liga. I mean, in
Balogun.
But
Charlie Patino's also doing very well as well.
Balogun and Patino would not have been starting in this competition because of Nketiah. But you see, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Whereas Lokonga does start. He doesn't get 10 minutes in this competition. He plays 4 matches. So he's getting the minutes here. He's not just coming on for 10 or 15 in this competition. I think that's why he stayed.
I still don't think it's enough. You're playing how many group games in a cup competition? I don't think it's enough.
Well, I think what is fair is that in my mind he's 19, 20 years old. He's not. He's like 22, 23.
Yeah.
Like he's actually at an age where you want to be playing regular minutes to some degree.
So you have to.
He doesn't get really called upon, does he? It's not like when we needed a goal against Southampton, he felt that he could bring on Lokonga either. So, yeah, I think a loan would benefit him massively in January. But provided that Smith Rowe, Elneny returns, that's 2 extra players to the roster and a signing.
And you buy
Lokonga, by all means, go out on loan, yeah.
Okay, Sam just said, when you pan to Shiroi, it looks like Leah is yelling at you. So it looks like Leah Williams behind you. Leah, get him off!
There was another one as well.
I did not notice that. I did not notice that.
Yeah,
so let me just remind you of the team once again here in the starting 11 to play against PSV today. It's Ramsdale in goal, Tomiyasu, Holding, Saliba, Tierney, Lokonga, Xhaka, Vieira, Odegaard, Martinelli and Eddie Nketiah. That's quite a strong team. Hine, Cedric, White, Gabriel, Ibrahim, Partey, Smith, Serjan, Saka, Nelson and Jesus on the bench. What's Cedric got to do to get a game?
He might come on. Have you got PSV? Have you got their team? Have you got their team?
he's been injured, hasn't he? And now last couple of weeks.
He's doing his coaching badges. So
I saw that. Yeah.
Cedric's off in January, 100%. He's
Really?
off in January. Yeah, he's got to be.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he's going. I think he'll get a.
Yeah, because he's just not.
I mean, if he was going to go, he would
He
have
actually
gone
did quite well for us last season.
Yeah.
I thought. Listen, he wasn't great, but I thought he did fine. He wasn't the problem.
Maybe when the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup come along, we have a few more games.
Maybe
Maybe you want the extra fullback option. Who knows?
play him in midfield. Give Xhaka a rest.
I'm still trying to find the PSV team, so if you guys keep talking amongst yourself, I try to find that.
What do you think is the most realistic outcome tonight based on that team? Because if I'm looking at PSV,
I'm expecting points now.
I'm looking 3 points now.
Yeah.
With that team.
Yeah.
That's a strong team.
If we go out now, I'll be annoyed if we lose.
you
Listen,
still look concerned. You still look concerned.
no, now I'll be. Listen,
Yeah, I mean, this was a similar team that played them at home, and we only won 1-0. We almost struggled in that.
Despite
game.
the fact
No,
that
we
they
should've
posed no,
won.
Yeah,
they
they
posed
did
no
nothing.
attacking threat.
We
either.
had in that game 20 odd shots.
No, I mean, first half we
should have
I
won
think we
it.
had only one shot. The first half. It was second half when the backup came on. That was the dead playing.
But a lot of the backup are playing now. We should have won that game easy. against PSV.
Yeah, I agree.
At
Yeah.
home, it will
No,
be
I
different
agree.
away. Obviously, they're going to have to be different. But I thought they were awful last week.
They came for a
How-
point. They came for a
They
point
came
last
for a
week.
point, yeah.
But they can't be there for a point today, and I think we do better against teams that are slightly more open. So I'm hoping that we can get through today.
Could be a really entertaining game, actually.
And
That's what I want to see. That's why I want to see who's starting.
I hope
today.
Eddie has a good game, man. I felt sorry for him. Listen, against Southampton, I thought him and Vieira came on and
Yeah, they weren't
didn't really
great.
do anything.
Yeah.
But against PSV last week, I thought he was a lot better than people gave him credit for. I didn't understand the criticism. He was running
yeah,
at
because
players.
if you notice, they weren't giving him the ball a lot, and he kept complaining at Xhaka, kept yelling at Saka sometimes, because they weren't giving him the ball.
And every time he got it, he showed such great intent.
Yeah, he was running at players, he was getting fouled, he was trying to commit men and just make things happen. And I think sometimes we focus too much on end product, right? Causing chaos is a thing.
Once again, though, guys, right? The problem is when you and this is whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
When you're coming in, when you start now, this is the pressure
Yeah.
of when you're that person that you're not the starter. When you get this game now and you start, people are looking for goals. They're like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was playing on the left.
Jesus ain't playing today.
Well, no,
Listen,
both times he came on, he was playing on the left.
we know all that.
In the league.
In
We
the
know all
league,
that.
I guess Southampton appears
The reality of it is-
but he just started. So
The
you can't
reality
say,
of it is
you know.
goals. That's what
No,
you're
that's
a striker.
fine. That's fine.
You
But
want to
he's,
see
not, he's a
goals.
striker that's playing on the wing. You can't just say goals.
Saka plays on the wing, so
Yeah,
does
but
Martinelli.
that's his stock in trade.
Right, so I'm
Martinelli,
just-
that's his stock in trade.
Reminds me of that
No, but
debate.
when he played last week.
Yeah, he was on the left because he just started the game.
Oh yes, you're right.
Yeah, so
Reminds
that's what
me
I'm
of-
saying.
do you remember
And then
when-
when he moved to the centre, he started peppering the goal.
Do you remember when we lost to Goodison 2-1 last season? That was a dark
Sadly,
day.
yes, I do remember.
Eddie came on. He missed that golden
That good
chance.
chance.
Do you remember a 1-1?
Yeah.
He should have buried it. It was a howler of a miss. But he also put it on a plate three
For-
times. I think
for
Aubameyang,
Aubameyang, yeah,
Lacazette,
yeah.
and another
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
And so he came on. And he impacted, and all everyone talked about was the miss, which
Yeah.
can happen. And I get it, that's what you're judged on.
Striker,
But,
innit?
but we nearly won that game purely because of Eddie's appearance, but no one really talked about it that way. So
Yeah.
it's hard, man. It is hard.
That's why you're professional football playing for a big club like Arsenal.
Yeah.
You think it's easy?
No.
You've got
And
to
then he went to,
you have to deliver.
He went to Chelsea and delivered 2 goals.
You have to
what-
deliver.
that's
Yes,
how
you
it
did.
happens,
But
yeah.
man, that's to a lot of people now. That's a distant memory.
No,
They want to
so
see something
Everton
tonight.
is even more distant memory.
Yeah, they want to see some tonight. You know what I mean?
No, they will see. He has been scoring in Europa League. They will
Yeah.
see. No
All right.
problem.
I want
Let
an
me-
Eddie hat-trick and a Lokonga man of the match.
Let me run through PSV. I've got the lineup. So in goals, Benitez, Romalo, Braithwaite, Mawene, Max, Sangara, Veerman, Guterres, El Ghazi, Gakpo, and Xavi Simon. So a very strong PSV team as well.
I wonder if that's Gakpo up top then. Because I imagine El Ghazi right, Simmons
Yeah.
on the...
He
sorry,
played
El
on the
Ghazi left, Simmons on the
Is
right.
it the El Ghazi that I know from Premier League?
It's, yes, I believe
it's the same El Ghazi,
Anwar
yeah.
El Ghazi.
He
Sangara at the
can come
bench.
off either flank, you know.
Do you know who else did well? Madueke when he came on, so that's another option from the bench
Yeah,
they've
he
got.
looked very quick. Anyway,
Yeah.
listen, we're going to wrap it up right now. Don't forget, we've got the big watch-along coming up. It's a 5:45 kickoff the game, so coming up in about half an hour, we're going to be doing the watch-along here on AFTV. Hoping for a big Arsenal win tonight. Also, the guys are over there at the moment. They're at the Philips Stadion. They're going to be interviewing fans outside the game, so make sure you can check out all of that content later. We've also got a full-time show as well, where James will be on that, and you'll be able to let us know your opinions on how the game went. So, yeah, we got it fully covered here on AFTV, so join us back in about half an hour's time for the big game. And once again, big up to Sanucci, loving the cannons. Hopefully this is going to bring us victory.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to bring us
If we
victory.
win, 1-1, bill me. No problem.
Oh, someone record that. Yeah, we've got that. We've got that now.
No.
We've got that. That's there. Thank you. I just want that snippet if we win. Send that straight to me, thank you.
Can I just say, my one out of all of them is the most on brand because apparently we're wearing grey shorts today. For
Yeah,
the
we
match.
are.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Very wonderful
There you go.
combination.
I've got the silver on ready. I don't know what you lot are wearing.
silver on ready.
That's why I came in the black and grey, bro. That's why I'm here.
All right, so listen, we'll be back in about half an hour. We'll catch you very, very soon here on AFTV.
Alright, I'm loving this new Sanucci Silver Diamante chain with the Canon pendant as well. Silver looking fresh for the season. What's that? You like this one? You feeling it?
It looks nice, man.
Yeah?
But just like the Invincible trophy, mine is gold. Check this out from Sanucci and get match day ready.